Hey everyone. I had the oddest experience and I just have to trust it. Samba is talking with me and I've spoken with Cryon for a while, but Cryon was working with me today too. And I had a need to come to the cemetery. Again, it's been a while since I've been here. And so I came here and I have this need to close my eyes, and I do. And so I'm seeing the cemetery then in like a negative, um like like when you look at a photograph negative. So there's like no color really, but I see these two portals of light, and off over that way I saw a really strong big beam of light coming out of the ground. And off back there, toward those trees back there, I saw a much, much smaller portal. That's what I realized they were, because I was asking myself, well, what are these portals? And I'm just like, okay, they're portals, but really, what are they? Portals for what? And so I realized that the first one I showed you, if we're looking at human words and how we like to categorize things in duality and judge things, you could say it was evil. And the second one I showed you, this much smaller one, was positive. And the first one was life draining. The second one was life building. So, but then I just look past it and keep trying to think of things, but yet they keep coming back into my mind's eye, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Heal them. Okay. Now Cryon, I haven't watched Cryon's messages in several years, and suddenly they started coming up here on YouTube, and I started watching them again, and I'd been aware for a little over a year that I was talking to him sometimes. But it was almost like when I listened to those messages, he was speaking directly to me. And so I do believe that there is this big awakening that's happening on the planet right now. And this is now, it's also validating. I couldn't sleep last night. Last night was a really bizarre night. I found out certain things that will be going on with my twin that on a surface level would seem bad. They would seem scary, but yet I'm not afraid. This is actually a test for me to become who I need to be, embodied on this planet as a walking angel, or really fully integrating all parts of myself. So being here, I mean, in essence, I have to speak and defend my right to exist in a court of law, which somehow I ended up getting involved in because of his karmic partner. This is just information I was being given last night. So we'll wait and see what that actually means. Maybe it's all symbolic. But regardless, whatever it is, it's a test for me to be myself, to stand in my truth, to not be afraid of what people are going to say, to not presume that I'm going to be judged or looked down upon, and realize that maybe it's time for me to start sharing what I have with the world without fear of condemnation. So this being in the cemetery today is where I just felt pulled to come back here again. And now Okay, so back to this thing. I'm sitting here and I'm just trying to let my mind, I'm just trying to meditate in essence. Never been good at meditating. I don't know how people do it. um, but I actually was sort of meditating, but in my mind's eye, I kept going back to one of these two portals. And I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with it? Heal it. How? And then I remembered my experience last year where I connected to my someone's flame and ferried their soul, or I mean, she was doing a life review and Jesus was by my side and I was just observing it, like being there as an angelic support. I couldn't see specifically what she was seeing, but I could see the results of it. I could see that if she was looking at an experience that one would typically consider of negative, darker emotions, the world around me would turn into hell. Fire, desolation, bleak landscape, sort of thing. When she was thinking of something happy, everything turned into a heaven, vibrant, full of colors, beautiful, just, yeah. So this kept switching back and forth. And during this time, just previous to this, I had my first conscious thing of connecting with the life flame of an individual because I was tasked with keeping her flame steady until she made her decision of whether she was going to pass on or not. And I did this by connecting with my twin at the time. And he helped me to build up my flame, which I realized, this was the first time I looked inside at my flame, and I realized it wasn't nearly big enough. I needed to get it bigger, because at the time it was really only the size of my heart. And I was being told that my flame needs to be about the size of my body. So in essence, I'm walking around in a flame. And of course, hers was much, much smaller, not even, it was just like a little spark inside of her heart. And so the idea was that I needed to get it at least as big as her heart, or just at least as big as, like, the palm of the hand in essence. And so I had to leave myself connected to it overnight. See, I guess maybe it's because I wasn't strong enough or something, but I did have to leave it connected overnight. And when I went back to check it the next day, surprisingly, it was the size from like her nose down to her chest. But she was still unconscious, and she was still doing some work. She had made her decision to stay, but she was just really, I don't know exactly what the nature was going on, but I saw that she was still in heaven playing with the ducks, and she was just enjoying being a child again, I guess, until she decided to come back and face this reality. So when I'm sitting here in this cemetery, I asked myself, well, what can I do to heal this? You guys don't, because at this point now the Deans of the cemetery are talking to me. Deans, I don't know, the citizens of the cemetery, the ghosts, are talking to me. And one comes and sits down next to me, and I could just barely perceive her. In my mind's eye, I perceive her. I mean, I can't physically see her or anything like that, and I know that she's speaking to me, but I can't quite understand what she's saying. And she just, in essence, I just get the impression that I can't do anything about the big, large, life-sucking energy vortex by like directly attacking it. And the only way to get rid of it is to build up the much smaller life-giving vortex. In essence, this larger one is where, like, the Anunnaki or the Arkans, those beings that are coming in to harvest our energy, to keep us in this low vibration, in this fighting, in this real 3D experience. And So this is where they're coming in and out, but this is one portal for this particular area. That this is where they're funneling all this energy towards, so they can put it toward their collective and feed their collective, like the ants bring back food. The Anunnaki are bringing back food like ants do. They go out and get it and come back and bring it back to the nest. So in essence, this is like the entrance to a nest. The other one is where angels will come through, where they do whatever they can to try to bring life into the area, but the people have gotten conditioned to be lifeless, and so they don't really want it. So the portal is small, and it's getting smaller. The angels aren't able to do their work because there's so much darkness that's existing in the world. So to heal it, what's going on here, because at this point now I'm starting to be aware of other voices of cemetery residents talking with me. And to heal it, I need to build up the life flame of that big portal. That smaller portal. And so I do. And I'll talk about kind of what I did in perhaps another video. But the point of this video is that by increasing the size of the life-giving one, it started to decrease the size of the life-sucking one. And the other important thing is that I had to connect with the residents of the cemetery here. And I, in essence, had to ask them if they wanted a job. Okay. Because a ghost is a pattern of a life that is past. They're like the seal of that life. It's like you could take an entire lifetime of a person, and you capture it like on a film, sort of, and this is the ghost. So the ghost is really just a projection of that life. So the soul has gone on and incarnated again, and it left behind the ghost. The ghost has no sentience. If the ghost passes on, it goes to the light and whatever, and it probably goes back and joins its soul. Or it goes and joins the Akash records or something like that. I don't really understand. But if it stays, obviously it becomes part of what we consider hauntings. And some ghosts can find a way to garner energy. So the residents here at the cemetery wanted this large life-sucking portal gone, because it interrupted their life. The life of the living dead, I guess. They wanted to be the living dead. I don't know. This is really bizarre. At any rate, it was interrupting them. So I gave them a job, the ones that wanted to join me. I said, well, you can move about freely. You don't have any restrictions. The Arkans and Anunnaki don't care about you because technically you're not alive anymore and you don't have any sentience. So the idea, after much questioning of Cryon and them and just my intuition, I finally came to, they were to report to me the goings-on of these life-sucking beings. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it, but I'm told by Cryon that I'll figure it out. This is my job here. Mine and my twins' job. Funny, I really wish I knew what it was. So, where was I going? Their payment for helping me is that I also have the ability, apparently, to rejoin them with their soul. I guess it's kind of that, crossing over to the light. But see, I don't think crossing over to the light rejoins them with the soul, because I think every time we incarnate, we actually lose a piece of our soul, the ghost. So remembering our past lives is reintegrating our ghosts. But many people don't know how to do this. I think I have accidentally started doing it. But apparently now I can actually do this for other people. We'll see where that goes too. Anyway. The citizens of this cemetery are divided. Some just want to live out their life, not get involved or whatever, but I think they'll start to join me. Realistically, they want to help this cemetery be the anchor point it needs to be, which is to allow life to come back into the world. I don't know. It's crazy. So many crazy ideas. I honestly don't even know why I jumped on here. It's like this is all just like a sudden, like, boom, here's some information, and now I have to really think about what all this means. But I think I just needed to let you all know of this. There is a holy war going on. And it's time to pick your loyalties. And I'm going to talk more about the sides some other time. So, alright. Blessings, everyone, and bye from everyone here at the cemetery. So, have a wonderful day.